It's time for pesebres. It's time for árboles. It's time for reyes. It must be Navidad. Hello guys, everybody. It's Migueltio, the North Country Latino, and we're going to make a really cool Spanish treat today for Navidad, for Christmas, and that's Turron. Turron De Jijona, which is the Spanish full name for it, which was developed in a town in Spain, in Jijona, way back centuries ago. And of course the Italians even make Torrone, they call it. I remember seeing Torrone at Cookie's Deli in Batavia when I was a little kid over in the Ames Plaza. Anybody who happens to watch this remembers Cookie's Deli in Batavia. They used to have those little Torrones. Well, the Turron De Jijona are a little longer than that. They're like little bars, whether it's the Italian or the Spanish, of nougat with honey and nuts. Mainly, I'll show you almonds like this. And what we're going to do is put these almonds in the oven to toast them for about 10 minutes at 375 degrees. Good layer of almonds on a pan. And it's about 10 minutes to toast those almonds at 375 to start with. While those almonds are toasting, pour about a cup and a half of honey into a medium saucepan. And of course it takes a little while to pour that honey in because the stuff likes to stick to the side of your cup. So once you got it measured out, shake it out there. And you're going to bring this to a slow boil over medium heat while your almonds are toasting. Torrone was invented many centuries ago when the Moors, which are of course early Middle Easterners, occupied the area of the Mediterranean, Spain, Italy, and such, which of course brought about the revolutions years later against them to get them out of those countries, known as the Crusades. Well, while they were there, they did a lot of different cultural things that actually shaped the future of some of the things that people eat in those parts of the world, which of course shaped the future of some of the things we eat in this part of the world, because they brought those things to this part of the world between the Spanish and the Italians that helped explore. They brought their cultures with them, but their cultures were brought up by the Moors many centuries ago. So I've got all of that honey out of there. Now I'm going to put it on medium heat and let that come to a slow boil. And one of the things that the Moors brought to the lands of Italy and Spain that were not native there is the almond trees and things. So anything like this, or marzipan, which is of course almond paste, very sweet delicacy brought by the Moors and passed down through the centuries. Alright, so 10 minutes is up. We're going to take those almonds out. Nice and brown they are. Look at this. Totally toasted, nice and brown. So anyways, after that, you take some egg whites. And you still got your honey slow boiling over that slow cooking fire. So let that go, but keep watching it. Take about 3 or 4 egg whites. Put them in a bowl. And get a pinch of sugar in your fingers. I always do this with adding a pinch of sugar to it because it helps the stiffness. Have an electric mixer on hand, which I do. Alrighty. Going to make some noise around this place. Take a pinch of sugar, put it into the bowl. Maybe just a little more, you know what I'm saying? This is like a nougat recipe with honey and nuts and egg white. No chocolate in this one. There are some chocolate Torrones out there, I've seen them, but this isn't one of them. And you basically take it and you mix and blend and mix until those egg whites are nice and big, and poof, and fluffy and stiff. If you've never done this before, it's quite an operation. Those nasty little egg whites turn into this big bubbly mixture when you blend them around with a hand mixer. Never thought they'd look like that. Until they're nice and stiff. Meanwhile, this is starting to bubble, so I'm going to take it off of the heat. And just let that sit for a bit off the heat, the honey. Because it's ready to have other things done with it later. But the main thing right now is to get these egg whites nice and stiff. Doesn't take that long. But you gotta be patient. By stiff I mean when you take the little blades and you go like this and they make little peaks. Now you see that is not staying up, so it's not ready. So don't try to say, oh, you're done if it's not making the little peaks, because you're not ready. It's got to go longer. So you keep on blending and mixing. And a shout out to everybody at Drink Coquito. They've been selling their coquito in the barrio. Any of you Long Islanders out there, they sell it all summer long with all their recipes and fun things to do at the Port Jefferson Outdoor Market. So coquito is not just for Christmas anymore, but I don't know, I like it for Christmas better than any time else. So getting those egg whites nice and stiff. Blending it and blending it, moving those blades and moving them and moving them. Try to really wrestle with that stuff. Egg whites are stubborn. Very, very stubborn. It's a little stiffer. I'm testing it out. A little stiffer than it was a few minutes ago. See, there's a little bit of a sitting up there. I'll go a little bit longer. You never get your egg white stiff enough. For those of you who make meringue, or have ever heard of things like lemon meringue pie, or meringue cookies, it's egg whites that make the meringue. So this is like your meringue, you know what I'm saying? Now, I think my meringue is ready to go. Race it around here a little more. Yeah, it's pretty stiff. We're getting a pretty good peak off of that. What do you think? I think it is. Look at that peak. It's sitting right up there. Sitting up and taking note. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, now shake the meringue off the blade. Now that it's nice and solid, it comes off just with a little easy shake. And I'm going to fold this into the honey. Now by folding, it's not just dumping it in. Any of you who've never folded something in before, it's called mixing it carefully in. And stirring it around little by little. Not just going wham and it's in there. You got to really mix it around. So I get my honey. And I'm starting to fold this into it. And I'm stirring it a little bit around. So I'm not just throwing the whole thing in. See, I got pretty good amount still left in the bowl. So I'm just kind of moving it around in the honey. And that's what folding it is getting it well blended before you add more. So that you're not just putting a big slop in there and expecting it all to be ready. Get that honey so it kind of comes up from the bottom before you add any more of this egg white. It's got to be well blended. So it looks like an off kind of brown color here. Then I'm going to fold in a little more. Not all of it yet, mind you. Just some more. Still bringing out that gold color. Cooking is such an art, folks. You can't have an app to get it done. You can have apps for your favorite recipe or your favorite restaurant or your favorite chef these days, but you can't supplement an app to get the good food and how good it tastes when it's just que rico, you know what I'm saying? You can't make coquito on an app. You can't make torrones on an app. You can't make arroz con condules on an app. You have to do it yourself. I know, you can go to the store and get some by Goya in the frozen section, but it's not quite the same. So we're still folding. Alright, so I got the last portion of the eggs in here. The egg whites, excuse me. I'm really trying to bring that honey up so it gets that off brown color. And you're going to have a lot of white coloring in there because it's going to take over the brown of the honey. But if you really bring that up, you'll get a hint of it back. So it'll be like a beige, I guess you could say. Okay? That's what you could call it. A very, very light brown. Now what you're going to do with this, once you've got it well folded, and I think I'm almost there, is put it back over some medium heat. Constantly stirring it for 15 to 20 minutes. And what that's going to do is that's going to condense it to almost like a thick caramel. You know, we got some sugar in here, so you're going to get a caramelization going on. So now I've got my burner back on to medium, and I'm right here. And I've got my timer set. It's now less than 15 minutes, and I am stirring. So you stir for a good 15 minutes. 15 to 20 actually. So I'm going to go even a little higher. There you go. Now it's now under 20. And constantly stir. And it's going to caramelize. Of course, starting at the bottom of the pan, closest to the burner. And that's why you are doing this constant stirring so it doesn't burn on, or at least try. Some of you may have better luck than I have, some of you not be as lucky, you never know. Now you might find, like I did, that the volume of your egg whites gets too big for the pot you did. If that happens, do like what I did here, switch it to a bigger pot really quick before it boils over. Keep that stirring going. When things are getting down to the last minute or so, take your almonds and stir them right in. Mixing them really well. I can even turn my heat off because most of these stoves will hold their heat for a while. Mix those almonds in thoroughly, all over the place. It's almost like an almond stew you've got here now. Alright, that's said and done. You've got a glass dish lined with parchment paper. And what we're going to do is pour this mixture into, the parchment paper lined dish. Now, there it is, layered into the glass dish. And what I'm going to do is take another piece of parchment paper, put it over the top. That done, it's going to go into the fridge for a good couple hours. give it a chance to cool. So there it is in the fridge for a couple of 2 hours to chill and chill out. We'll be back to check it out later. And then after the Torrones have been in the fridge for a while, I slice them up into their little bars and I put them in the freezer for a little bit just to get a little more firm. So we'll see how that comes out later. Well, just a couple hours in the freezer just to give them a little hardness. And these babies are ready. So get out your favorite Christmas plate and add something sweet. These are good. The neat thing about Torrones, there's no right or wrong way. I've seen the white Torrones. I've seen the chocolate Torrones. I've seen the brown ones like these. I think Goya sells the white ones, the ones you see in a lot of the stores. Regardless, Torrones are an awesome part of whatever table you put out. Christmas table. Yeah, Hanukkah table. Hanukkah starts today too. Bring them to your table. Right by a good mug of tea. Right by your tree. This is Migueltio, the North Country Latino, wishing you a happy holiday season with Torrones.